Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video, and I'm going to be talking about a newly shown Hot Toys figure, and this time we have from Avengers Endgame, Raccoon. So it's quite exciting. We've been seeing this figure for quite a while now, and finally getting on pre-order, which is cool. Hot Toys did just show a ton of new figures at Comic-Con, and they're starting to put a ton of them on pre-order, because the night that Comic-Con ends, they are putting 4 figures up for pre-order. We've got Rocket Raccoon right now, and then they did also show the Iron Patriot 2.0. I've made a video about it. The Venom pool from the game, which I'll make a video about as well, and then also the 1 in 4 scale Spider-Man. So they're showing a ton, which is really neat. Stay tuned for my channel to check out my other coverage on the other figures. But in this video, I'm just going to be talking about Rocket here, looking like a very nice figure, I must say. So let's get into it. So, right here, looking cool. As far as this new costume, this is a really great just comic costume. I mean, this is kind of exactly how his comic costume, or his costume looks in the comics, which I think is very cool. I'm glad that we're getting something very similar to it in the movie, and I think this is a really nice representation of it. My only issue with it is it's so small that I wonder how well his articulation is going to be. I believe this is the first Rocket to have sleeves. All the other Rocket figures have been sleeveless just because that's how the costumes have been designed, and therefore you have a better range of motion. This one, it does have full sleeves, so I'll be interested to see if the costume is able to be articulated very well, because I know with like the Rocket that I have, which is the original one from Guardians of the Galaxy 1, because it's such a small figure, and the joints are small and tiny, and the material is still just as thick as any other figure, it does make it so that the body can't really fight against the suit that much, and therefore like he's really limited in his thigh articulation. So I'm hoping that that's not the case here. Hopefully he will have a good range that's comfortable to be moved without damaging the body or the suit. But overall, he looks really cool. I believe that's the same head sculpt that's been coming out since Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They released for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as well as Infinity War, and now we have an Endgame one. I think it's the same one. I like that head sculpt, and that's the head sculpt I don't have because, like I mentioned, I bought the first edition one, which didn't come with that. It's the only Rocket not to have that head sculpt. So I do like the expression to it. I think that would be very cool. He does have his goggles, though. Of course, that's something that is quite new. And he does come with his standard guns. He's got like 2 sets, so there's kind of his larger handguns, and then here's the smaller ones. I think the larger ones just look a little cooler, a little more cosmic, which at this point in the MCU, I think is kind of where you should have it. And then we have, this is a weird accessory. He comes with the Infinity Gauntlet, the small one, like meant for your regular size characters like Iron Man. That's something that's kind of interesting considering Rocket never actually holds that in the movie, so I don't know why they're including it with him. They possibly didn't want to release it with some of their earlier figures because they hadn't, the movie hadn't been released yet, and now that the movie's released, they're just kind of including it with another figure to just kind of hopefully be able to sell this one a little bit better. He does also come with the little extraction kind of needle thing that he uses to get the ether from Jane Foster, who apparently is going to have a longer life in the MCU than we all expected, which is quite exciting, I must say. But I think that's a neat accessory. And obviously, if you get him with the Iron Patriot 2.0, you can kind of recreate some of the scenes in the movie, considering the two of them rode in the battle together. So I think that that's quite neat. I'm surprised that they actually don't offer a 2-pack for these two, but they're not. They're completely separate. And then here he is with the Groot. I think that this is a neat pose. However, the face sculpt is a little odd for it, I must say. But I think it's very cool to see him with the Teen Groot there. But as you can see, he's looking very cool, and the scarf obviously has a wire in it, and therefore you can do a lot when it comes to the posing with the scarf, which is always quite nice, I must say. The Infinity Gauntlet does look good, it just doesn't make any sense that it would come with him. And then I don't think that there's a single picture with the goggles on his eyes. I would guess that you're going to be able to do that, even though I don't know if we actually ever see him do it. I think it would still be nice to have the capability of putting the goggles over his eyes. Overall, this is a very cool figure. It totally depends on how much this is going to cost, whether I think it's worth it or not. I think the original Rocket was an okay price. The Guardians of the Galaxy 2 Rocket was a ridiculous price. And then when it came to Infinity War, that Rocket was only sold with Groot, so it was hard to compare just Rocket's price, but it wasn't too much more to get the version of Groot with Rocket. So this is the first Rocket to go on pre-order by himself in a long time, so it'll be very interesting to see what his price is going to be. I would hope that, like, to be honest, I don't think that Rocket figures should be more than like 145. I think that that's kind of tops how much this figure is kind of worth, and all Rocket figures are worth, especially if they don't come with a ton of accessories. And this one does not. This one comes with one head sculpt. It comes with 4 small weapons. It comes with only 5 hands, which is very little, and his hands are super small anyway. He comes with the standard base, the little ether kind of extractor, and then the gauntlet. The gauntlet's the only thing that's any bit substantial, but it's really just a normal Hot Toy figure's hand with a bit of the forearm. So it's just, you don't get a ton with this guy at all, and therefore I wouldn't think it's worth it if it's over 145, unless you just don't have a Rocket in your collection, you really need it. For me personally, I don't think I'm gonna get this. If it's a great price, if it's under 140, you know, I'd probably end up purchasing it. However, anything above that, I don't think it's worth it, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be above that. So here you go, that's my thoughts on this new Hot Toys figure. Let me know what you guys think of it, and thanks so much for watching.